Good evening, everybody. We'll start with our Organon session. So, dear friends, we are discussing regarding the drug proving, the semi-practical part of the organ of medicine since last few days. And in last session, we have discussed two more aphorisms, aphorism number 133 and 134, where Dr. Samuel Hahnemann have explained about one important thing, that the proving should be to such a level that you should able to get proper sensations from the patient, proper modalities from the prover, proper concomitants from the prover, so that the materia medica which you will going to build after proving will have a good significance, will have a individualizing characteristic features, and you can apply the law of similarity. So this aspect he tried to explain over there. Each and every details from the prover you have to take into consideration. You have to ask many questions, and you can get whole data. And at that time, the prover should be very conscientious enough so that he can answer your all questions. Then in 134, he explains over there are certain symptoms which are rare symptoms. To confirm them and to confirm each and every symptom, a single proving is not of any use. You have to repeat the provings. So there should be a one experiment, two experiment, three experiments. You have to experiment it on many individuals. Then again, you have to repeat it in different potencies. All those things matters a lot when you can gather the thorough proving of that specific remedy. So materia medica is never built on single proving or proving on single person, but it's a lot of experimentation with which you can gather the information, analyze it, and to make it confirm. So these were the things which we have discussed in last lecture. Let us start with the new aphorism number 135. So let us see what he says about the 135. The whole of the elements of disease a medicine is capable of producing can only be brought into anything like completeness by numerous observations on suitable persons of both sexes and of various constitutions. So what he says, when you are doing such type of proving, it should be observed on both sexes so that you can gather the symptoms related with the specific that sex. In case of males, it is related with the male's genital symptoms, and in case of females, related with female genitals. And those are very essential part of your proving. And that's why it should be on both sexes. At the same time, he explains it of various constitutions. So constitutions are different. Every individual's constitution is different, because there are many permutations and combinations. In fact, it has been classified into three main constitutions: the carbo-nitrogenide, the hydrogenide, and oxygenide. But this is a big classification. The carbo-nitrogenide constitution, where the carbon and nitrogen content of the body is much more related with the soric miasm. The hydrogenide constitution, where the hydrogen and oxygen, the water content is much more inside the body. Hydrogen is more, that is hydrogenide, related with the psychotic miasm. And the third one, that is oxygenide, where the oxygen free radicals are much more related with the degeneration, related with the syphilitic miasm. So there are many permutations and combinations of those miasms happens to be there. Constitutions are there. And then you have to prove it on all varieties of constitution. So you can get the whole data. Some provers, some constitution shows you much more symptoms in certain remedies, and another constitution will not going to give you detailed proving. So such thing happens. And that's why it should not be proved on only one variety of constitution. It should be proved on many varieties of constitution. We can only be assured that a medicine has been thoroughly proved in regard to the morbid states it can produce. That is to say, in regard to its pure powers of altering the health of man, when subsequent experimenters can notice little of novel character from its action, and almost always only the same symptoms as had been already observed by the others. Now he explains when you will think that the proving is completed. So, how will you understand that proving is completed in that person? The only thing with which you can acknowledge that is when the same symptoms only appears and there is no new symptom appears after that. Novel means anything of a new character. So no new symptom starts appearing, only the whatever is collected and that is present and that is gradually declining. Nothing new is developing. Then it is the time that now proving is completed. It varies from remedy to remedy. In some cases, it takes only 2 3 days. In some remedies, it might take 10 to 12 days. In some remedies, it might last for months also. So it depends upon what medicine you are going to prove. And accordingly, you can find it out the data from that prover. And if there is no more new data starts and nothing new develops, at that time, it is the time where you can think that proving is now completed in that specific individual. It doesn't mean that proving is completed forever. Proving is completed in that specific individual only. If you go on proving the remedy on different constitutions, you might get few new more symptoms also. And that's why no proving can be called as a complete proving because it goes on changing. There are varieties of peoples, and accordingly, your proving always have a new additions in it. And that's why no proving can be called as a complete proving. But in that specific individual, you can think that proving is now completed. So two things which he explained in this aphorism. First important thing he explained that it should be proved on both sexes. It should be proved on different constitutions. And third thing, when to think that proving in that specific individual is complete. That is when no new novel symptom starts appearing. Only the original, whatever have happened, those remains and they starts fading away. Then it is the time to consider that proving is now completed. Now he turns towards the 136. Although, as has been said, a medicine on being proved on healthy subjects cannot develop in one person all the alterations of the health it is capable of causing, but can only do this when given to many different individuals, varying in their corporeal and mental constitutions. Yet, the tendency to excite all these symptoms in every human being exists in it according to an eternal and immutable law of nature, by virtue of which all its effects, even those that are but rarely developed in healthy persons, are brought into operation in case of every individual, if administered to him when he is in a morbid state, presenting similar symptoms. Then, even in the smallest dose, being homeopathically selected, silently produces in the patient an artificial state closely resembling the natural state, which rapidly and permanently homeopathically frees and cures him from his original malady. See, now he is explaining that no proving is done only on a single proof. That is the first already which he has discussed. You have to prove it on many individuals of different ages, different constitutions. He explains over there the different corporeal and mental constitutions. Corporeal means physical, and mental constitution, yes, everyone's mind, mental constitution is different. Where you can get and gather the information of the proof. So you get that data which is useful for you for the proof. And then When you gathered all this information, for example, we'll take example of a simple remedy, which you know very, very well, is LMCPA. If you do a proving of LMCPA, you get all those symptoms where there is a running nose, watering nose, along with severe lacrimation. Nose is absolutely irritated because of corrosive discharge. There is it is dropping from the tip of the nose along with lot of sneezing. Continuously the person is sneezing associated with lacrimation and he's rubbing his eyes also. The patient is getting aggravated when he's inside the room. He's better when he goes into the open air, and when he again re-enters inside the room, the coryza aggravates. And these are the features which we know regarding the LMC approving. If by chance we get the similar type of patient comes to you presenting the similar types of presentation. Now it is the time to give the LMCPA because the whole similarity is there at the level of sensation, at the level of modalities, at the level of presentation, and you have applied the LMCPA. Now he explains over there what happens after giving the LMCPA. The patient's natural disease, which was there, permanently disappears when you have applied the medicine on the basis of law of similars. And now there acts only the LMCPA disease, the medicinal disease. Now the natural disease no more exists. It disappears because the law of similars works. Nature's law of cure works. Now what remains is nothing but the LMCPA disorder. That is a disorder which is produced because of stronger stimulus of the LMCPA than the natural disease. And because of which now the natural disease, as it has been completely removed, the LMCPA action vanishes as you stop giving the LMCPA, and the person becomes permanently free from his symptoms. This is the importance of proper drug proving. In order to get the right, in order to get a detailed understanding of the remedy, this human proving, which has been started and developed by Hahnemann, is really of a very useful. We get subjective symptoms as well as objective symptoms during the proving, and all are necessary to find it out a right simillimum for the suffering humanity. So, importance of this drug proving, which he explains over there, that when you select right remedy on the basis of that proving available, then you can cure that patient permanently. I think we have a time. We'll finish one more aphorism and then we'll conclude. 137. The more moderate within certain limits, the doses of medicine used for such experiments are provided. We endeavor means prayatna karne. We endeavor to facilitate the observation by selection of a person who is a lover of truth. So, see how the person should be, how the prover should be. First important criteria which he explains over there, he is lover of truth. Very important. Temperate in all respects. Temperate means saumya, sopa, who is not irritable, not angry, not too emotional, temperate in all respects of delicate feeling, and who can direct the most minute attention to his sensations. The prover who will going to look towards each and every sensation. He should be conscientious in. So he is explaining how the drug prover should be. Because if you want to get a clear data of the medicine proved, these qualities should be there in your prover. Most important quality he has highlighted, that is he should be a lover of truth. Very important. If he says something wrong, whole proving gets spoiled. And that's why he should be lover of truth. The most minute attention to his sensation, so much the more distinctly are the primary effects developed. and only these, which are most worth knowing, occur without any admixture of the secondary effects of or reactions of the vital force. When, however, excessively large doses are used, there occur at the same time not only the number of secondary effects among the symptoms, but the primary effects also come on in such hurried confusion and with such impetuously that nothing can be accurately observed, let alone the danger attending them, which no one who had any regard for his fellow creatures and who looks on the meanest of the mankind as his brother will dim an indifferent manner. Meanest म्हणजे क्षुद्रपणे, फेलो क्रिएचर्स मित्र मित्र प्राणी. डिम म्हणजे will dim an indifferent manner. Dim म्हणजे समजणे, एखादी गोष्ट समजून घेणे. इम्पेटियसली म्हणजे अतिशय वेगाने, immediately. What he wants to explain in this paragraph? Basically, he wants to explain what type of doses one should administer. He explained over there the word moderate. It should not be large. Whenever the word large comes, it is in the form of a material. And whenever you use any material, there is a primary action followed by a secondary action. And there is always a confusion in the actions. But if you give it in potentized form, you never get confused. You really get a reaction against a stimulus. You get accurate picture. And this accurate picture is very important for your drug program. If you don't get such types of picture in, then it will be not of any use for future. It will be not useful for suffering mankind. And for that purpose, it is too much necessary to get a thorough picture. And generally, whenever you are going to prove these medicines, it should be given in or it should be provided in moderate doses and not the large doses. So in this aphorism, he tries to explain the how much doses or what type of doses you should give. Second important thing, what type of prover should be. The prover should be a lover of truth. Second important thing, he should be temperate in all respects of delicate feeling. And third important thing, who can direct the most minute attention to his sensations. These are three important qualities he further explains regarding the prover and at the same time regarding the doses during the drug program. So, see, Hahnemann tried his level best to explain it in much detail how one should conduct the drug program. So, these aspects, being an homeopath, everyone should know. If anyone asks you, you must have that knowledge. It is not necessary that you have to prepare every time such medicines, but you must have that specific knowledge which can be useful to answer anyone's queries. When you meet with the allopaths, they are curious enough. They always ask you how your medicines are prepared, how the proving is done, and you should be confident enough to tell or to answer their query. You should have that knowledge so that you can explain it in detail. And for that purpose, at least, we must have how the drug proving is conducted in homeopathy. So I think we'll conclude over here. Are there any queries? If queries are there, we can have. Otherwise, we'll conclude the session. And we'll meet directly on the Tuesday. I will not be there on Monday also. Tomorrow also it is not possible. So we'll directly have a session on Tuesday. Any query, Ali?
Sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
सर वो यूएस पेशेंट जिसको आपने कोरेलियम रूब्रम
सजेस्ट की थी हॉकिंग की वजह से और तमाम चीजें, पोस्ट नेजल ड्रिपिंग, तो उसको कोई बहुत ज्यादा उससे फर्क पड़ा नहीं। कुरेलियम रुब्रम 30 हमने उसको प्रिस्क्राइब की थी।
So better to take the re-totality again. Find it out
All
what
right, sir.
is there any change or is there anything specific. You take the chance that there might be something missing in that case. And if the state remains same, just go on increasing the potency. Then instead of giving 30, you can go for 200.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So I will share the totality with you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Dr. Rajesh.
Sir, the rubric light desire for, is it desire for sunlight or is it have some other meaning, sir?
It has many perspectives. Light desire for, by word or by clear meaning, it is definitely light desire for. There are many people who never likes the dark. There is an aversion to dark. For that purpose, they require the light. By words, it is like that. But it has many perspectives. It is something that person is in dark and he wants to throw a light upon something. So he is little bit curious, but not that much curious that he want answer always. The question is very lightly put. So it is a common thing the people talks. Doctor का असं होत असेल? Why this is happening? If you answer, it's better. If you don't answer, it's also better for them. So this is a question which has been lightly put in order to understand or to throw away the darkness is called as a light desire for. There are many people who wants to become light because they feel they are heavier. It is also one more approach with which you can take this rubric. They want to reduce their weight. They feel heavy and they want to become light. There are many aspects of it. So, but interpretations are always dangerous. Many of the people who used to take this rubric in each and every case, I suggest that unless and until it is very specifically mentioned and it comes again and again in the case, then it has a meaning. Otherwise, just overlook that. Because the question should be, or when you are interpreting it, at that time, it should be a proper interpretation. So that's my answer to your question. Are you satisfied?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything?
Hello, sir. Hello,
Yes.
sir.
Hmm.
If there is a patient taking treatment for chronic disease and now he is presenting for acute illness and his totality find out some remedy which is antidoting his chronic remedy. So what to do, sir?
If it is presenting state and he really requires that medicine, give that medicine.
For acute.
For acute. If it is really a state which is definitely asking for that remedy, just give that remedy. You have to evaluate whether really patient needs the remedy. Is his state is really which requires a medicine? If it subsides by itself, there is no need to give it. But if it is not subsiding and it requires really a medicine, and if it's presenting that state specifically, give that remedy to the patient.
And sir, when we will again resume his chronic treatment, then how to start with
First,
which potency?
you should not think about it first. You apply that, find it out what happens. Whether patient reaches, many times it happens you are treating the chronic disease and patient goes into the acute state and you find acute remedy, and at that time his acute as well as chronic both problems settles with the help of that. This happens many a times. These acute elements which comes to the surface after applying chronic remedy they are always useful and very useful in treating the chronics. They helps the action. Many a times they complement the action of the previous remedy, and that's why it is better to judge first whether to resume or not to resume. It is a question of judgment after prescribing that remedy. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So we'll conclude the session. We'll meet directly on Tuesday. Thanks a lot. And thank you everyone who were there for the yesterday's session. We'll meet soon again with the repertory. Okay. Thanks a lot.